What's up, guys? It's Anthony from AB Fitness here, and I'm here with one of our rock star clients. I'm on here with Dana right now, and Dana has a really cool story. So Dana, I'm going to say your age. I'm sorry, I know you're supposed to do it, but it's a client spotlight, and we have to highlight these things. So Dana's 37. Okay, she lost over 20 pounds, but the more impressive thing is that she's down 12% in body fat, and that's a ton of pure body fat. We'll get Dana talking about it. But Dana, welcome on, and thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody.
So in women talk, because when I say body fat, no one really knows what that means. In women talk, kind of, again, I'm just finding out about all these things now. All these years, this is the first, finally, I'm starting to pay attention to women's clothes size. But where were you before, and where are you kind of now with sizing?
That's worse than asking my age.
Is it? I don't know. Again, I'm learning this all. I don't know. Women focus more on the size than when I say body fat. They're like, oh, they don't really know what that means. But when I say like, okay, she went from a size, whatever, 16 to a 6, they're like, oh my God.
Right. So I would say most of my stuff was a 10 or a 12, depending on where it was from. And I'm pretty much solidly a 6 now in everything. I do have a couple 4s. Awesome. That I hope still fit, and I went from a large to a small.
That's really good. So I'm starting to learn this, like I said. So what's like an ideal size for women? I don't know. What's the kind of ideal clothes size?
I think medium small is where most people are comfortable with. It depends on your stature. I'm 5'6" and I have a pretty athletic build. So a medium for me is pretty great. So when the smalls fit, that was even better. But if you're kind of shorter and petite, you're in small, extra small.
And pants, do they go below 4?
Yeah, they go down to 0.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I will never be a 0. My hips are too big. But a 6 is pretty good. That's better than I was in high school. So I'll take it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So Dana, let's give us the short version of this. So where were you before you found us, and where are you now? Why are you on this client spotlight? What makes you so special? But in the short version, because we're going to dive into everything deeply in a minute.
Sure. So I was trying to kind of do it myself after having 2 kids. I was trying to just get the weight off, especially kind of your midsection. And I was doing it just from, eating a little bit healthier and trying to just do cardio on my own, and just really wanted the help. So I kind of reached out on Facebook randomly to see who was using personal trainers. I work in the city, so I was doing a gym in the city, and that was
technical difficulties.
What was that?
Hopefully I get it back.
Did you lose me?
I need like the elevator music to play while this is
Here, hold on, let me try going over here. I'll go upstairs.
For this?
Yeah, is that better? All right, I'll go upstairs. Yeah.
I was just saying, like, we talked and it was fine before this, and then we started pressing. We pushed the record, and of course we lost service. So, go ahead. We'll ask that question again. So, where were you before, and where are you now?
So, before I was trying to go it by myself and just lose weight through eating healthier or going to the gym by myself. I was trying to go to the gym on lunch hours in the city, and that just really wasn't going to work long term. So I live on Long Island. So I'd reached out to a Facebook group to say kind of who's using in-home personal trainers, what's working, what's not.
Actually,
Anthony responded to me.
Yeah, wasn't it boxing?
Yeah.
Were you looking for boxing?
I was doing boxing because I'm not a cardio kind of elliptical for 3 hours kind of person. And Anthony had reached out to me, and I kind of did a phone conversation and then came in and met the team, and I just really liked the approach, and it's been great.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I don't usually interact in those Facebook, like those groups on Facebook. And usually when I see stuff like that, like sometimes I just ignore them and sometimes I respond, because usually when someone's looking for a boxing instructor, I'm like, oh, they're not going to get it. Because we're total opposite of cardio. Like I'm totally against cardio. I'm not against it, but I'm more like, we focus on the stuff that works. So, when you had posted that, I'm like, whatever. Either she's going to like it or she's not going to like it. So I'll just reach out to her. So now you're looking for a boxing instructor, and this dumb meathead messages you and says, no, cardio is no good. What were you thinking initially?
So, I mean, I've been doing cardio my entire life. So like you basically get someone telling you you've done it wrong for 30 plus years. So I was like, all right, I'm willing to try anything, because I was doing boxing for almost a year and really there was no difference. Like I felt a little bit stronger and it was fun, but I wasn't losing any weight. So I'm like, I'll give it a shot.
All right. Now, everybody knows us for nutrition. You know, we specialize in giving out nutritional plans to people because that's and I talk about this all the time, you know, 70% of your results are going to come from what you eat. So the nutrition part of it is so, you know, important. And most people overlook that and they just worry more so about the workout. But before you found us, let's talk about pre-us, pre-AB. What were you doing nutrition wise? I mean, you mentioned you were trying to eat a little bit healthy, but you also mentioned now you're fitting into clothes that you did in high school. So what were you doing like nutrition wise? Like talk to us about that whole experience before us. Like what did you try? Crazy diets, things like that.
Right. So I did try keto and I did drop some weight from that, but it wasn't a way I wanted to eat for the rest of my life. So I was more concerned like, okay, if I stop doing this, what's going to happen? But it was cutting out a lot more bread or just controlling my portions, but I wasn't kind of monitoring it in any way or counting it. It was just like, okay, I'll eat a little bit less of that. Or I won't drink at all the work functions. That was kind of how I was doing it.
Okay. Now, and what about workout wise? Like you mentioned boxing, you mentioned you were doing boxing, but have you ever touched weights before meeting us?
I had, and I did like weight training. It just wasn't something that I had access to without going to the gym because I just didn't have it in my house. And I just like to be around other people. It's very boring to work out by myself. So that was what I was looking for, is just someone to kind of push me harder than I'd push myself.
Yeah, and I think you definitely got that. So we recently, you know, I'm going to talk about this now. So we recently did a body fat loss challenge and we titled it the candy edition. So basically, again, I like to prove people wrong and do things outside of the box. So, you know, we talk about all the time how it doesn't really matter what you eat, just more about the amounts. So the purpose of this challenge was to fit in things that you normally wouldn't eat sweets wise. So the more candy you kind of fit in, the more points you got and the more body fat you lost, you know, that's how we determined the winner. And Dana ended up winning. So Dana's funny in the sense that she has candy every day.
I do.
Dana also mentioned that she's in clothes that she was wearing in high school, that size, and she's eating candy every day. Now, Dana, when I first talked to you on the phone and I said, listen, Dana, you can have candy. You're going to have candy every day and fit into clothes and look unbelievable. Would you have believed me?
Probably not. No.
Yeah, I'm not kidding, guys. Just candy every day. And she's probably the healthiest she's ever been.
Yeah.
So let's talk about why has our approach been different for you? So what was kind of like, so now you met with us, you're sitting down with us, we explained to you what we want, what we need done, what we recommended for you. We send you over the meal plan. Why has this approach worked? What about it has been successful for you?
Because I think the meal plan makes sense. It's not something that I need to like go buy different things than I'd already have or eat things that I don't like. So it was just an easier way to have a metric for me to aim towards that I could fit in all the stuff I wanted. So I think one of the first things I told you is I'm not giving up my M&Ms, and you said that was fine. So I knew it could work.
And you haven't given up the M&Ms to this day. How long has it been now?
Almost a year. I think almost a year to the day.
And it's so funny because you've not stopped. You've actually probably increased the amount of candy.
I'll show you. Hold on.
It's so funny because we talk about this all the time. Yeah, there they are. That's it. That's it.
But that's how I get through quarantine.
The peanut ones are way better. That's my favorite M&M.
Well, it's peanut butter M&M, and plain.
She's not lying, guys. She fits it into her diet. So let's talk about the nutrition. So, all right. So why candy? And how does it kind of fit into your day? And what does a typical day of eating look like for you? Because I think people are going to misinterpret this and say, okay, I could just go eat candy and work out with weights and I'm going to get there.
I plan out my day pretty religiously. So I'm very healthy throughout the day. And I know I'm going to want that after the kids are asleep and I've survived another day. I'm going to want that soup of M&Ms. But I normally start off with something that's really high protein. So I do my carbs mostly during lunch. So I'll do a yogurt with peanut butter powder for breakfast. I'll do a protein shake, but just with water. So I'm not drinking other, I don't put fruit or anything in it, so I can save my carbs for the M&Ms. Like lunch, if I'm not doing if I do the yogurt for breakfast, I'll do some kind of omelet with spinach and turkey and a lot of it. So I just had lunch. It was 4 ounces of turkey, a cup of spinach, some Swiss cheese, and egg whites. So I kind of get through the whole day, or dinner is normally either chicken or shrimp. And I'll put in like a sweet potato or something like that, but I know that I've got those carbs and fats left over for a snack.
Yeah, I mean, your protein intake now is where it should be, but
Mhm.
before this, it wasn't nowhere near where it is
Oh yeah,
now.
no, I was under 100 before and didn't know because I wasn't counting. So it's a vast difference in how much protein I'm eating now.
And most people have a hard time getting in that protein. So for you, do you have a hard time getting into protein? Do you like it? Because some people struggle with that end of it also. And did you?
I did. I think I was trying to go without the protein powder, and I find that to be near impossible. I just,
A lot of
especially
food.
I work in the city, so I kind of have to get what what I can grab. And it's hard to find things that are high enough in protein. It's actually easier during quarantine because I'm making all my own food. So I can kind of control that a little bit more. But the protein bars, the protein powder, stockpiling yogurt, that definitely has helped.
Right. And being a busy professional like yourself, how has this approach kind of helped you? Because I'm sure with keto I don't know, it might have been a little easier. I don't know.
Keto's easier in the city just because it's so high in fat, so that's easier to find.
Yeah.
But I've got like my staple of 5 or 6 places around the office where I know I can get an egg white omelet any time of the day, or I can get like truly just grilled chicken and broccoli without butter and oil. So for me, that's Field Good chicken. I know exactly what I'm going to order. I'm not ordering the pre-done bowls. If I order from a restaurant or if I do something with work, I ask for it without butter or oil. And most places are pretty good about that.
Right. See, and you just said something really clutch there too, is that you said, I have my go-to places. And I think a lot of people forget to try to make this as simple as possible, and I talk about this all the time. The nutrition part of all of this is the hardest part. The exercise is easy. You go to the gym, you work out, you leave, it's done. The nutrition's all day. And I think trying to make it simpler instead of making it harder makes a huge difference. And I like the fact that you said that. And you probably also, and now that we're under quarantine and whatever else is going on, do you find yourself eating like the same times every day? Do you try to keep to a schedule or?
Pretty much just because of the kids. So, their snack time is pretty religious. So, if they're having goldfish or whatever they're having, I'll make a protein smoothie. Or, you kind of fit it in, or you're not eating that late because everyone's eating together. So it pretty much works out. We're eating around 7 for dinner. And then I get my M&Ms around 10 o'clock.
I like how you preference like the M&Ms. Like that's like your thing. I get
That's
M&Ms at this time and this time.
If I've survived the day, I'm sitting by myself eating my M&Ms.
Do you just like shovel them in, or do you have like one at a time?
No, one at a time. I make them last.
Yeah, you got to put them in a bowl, and then you got to have like one at a time.
I do.
Because it's just so funny how some people, everyone has their thing,
Right.
Have you been like, I mean, you're really successful with us, but pretend I'm not here. Talk about your bad moments. I mean, have you ever had those moments like dieting where you're like, I'm done with this. I don't want to do this right now. Talk about like the bad times. I mean, come on, pretend I'm not here. Cover my ears.
Yeah, but like when I do something like that, like we had Easter and we knew we were ordering in because I just was done cooking, and it came with a dessert. So like I knew I was going to eat cheesecake, and I was not going to feel bad about it. But doing it for so long, like you feel gross after. So It's like I was looking forward to it. I enjoyed eating it, but it's not something I would do all the time because you feel gross, or I feel like I undid what I did all week, and then I just hit myself. But yeah, it's once you get in the routine and you see the results, like you just want it for yourself.
Right. And the other thing too with you've been on a lot of vacations during this too. And we talked about planning for vacations, and we kind of went through that whole thing with you. So, because a lot of people think when they go on vacation, I'm on vacation. That's it. No more diet. Diet's out the window. I just do whatever I want. So what have been your tips and strategies for success on vacation? Because you've actually come back leaner.
Yeah. So we did a trip to Hershey with the kids last summer.
I'm sure you were in heaven there, huh? You stocked up for the year?
Right. And I told Anthony, I said, listen, I am going to have some kind of ice cream sundae concoction. So like, what do I do? So like the week leading up to it, I just saved up a lot of the carbs. So I'd cut out a serving each meal for a week. So I knew I had a lot kind of in reserves. I pre-measured out the protein. So I had that with breakfast every day. Pretty much anywhere you go, you can get an egg white omelet as an option for breakfast. You're running around all day. So I just tried to stay away from the unnecessary snacks. And then I thoroughly enjoyed dessert almost every night while we were there.
And you came back leaner.
Yeah. And you're walking all over creation. So it definitely helps. And almost anywhere you go nowadays has some kind of gym. You can make something work. So Laura had given me some things that I could do, even just with my own body weight, if they didn't have weights at the gym, and just got the 20 minutes in every day.
Right. So let's shift over to, well, actually, I want to cover one more thing before we shift over to the workouts, because you brought that up. But measuring. Someone's listening to this right now and they're like, they're measuring the food. It's so much work, blah, blah, blah. Is it the untold truth? Again, I'm not here.
It really isn't hard. The hardest part for me, even a year in, I'm horrible at guessing. So like I went through a week where I'm like, screw it. I'll just, fist size it. It's about 4 ounces. I suck at it. I just can't figure it out for the life of me. So I have to weigh stuff. I'm also a type A type person. So like, I like to be exact. So it was actually a little therapeutic to weigh everything. And
yeah, it's like almost put you at ease, right?
Right. So
because then you know exactly how much to eat.
Exactly. And I saw the results. I'm like, okay, like I knew I did well for that week and I should see about a half a pound come off, and I did. When I try to stop measuring it, then there's a margin for error, and I'm not a big fan of error.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's why you've been so successful. So, you sound like a robot, Dana. You're perfect. Everything you do is perfect. And I've said this, I've sung your praises a lot, but you sound like a robot. What do you struggle with? What is Dana's struggles? What have you struggled with during this whole thing? I want to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, the struggle is to just really get up and do it. Like, have the mindset to say, like, it's been a shit week. I've had 2 hours of sleep. I signed up for the, 6 a.m. Zoom class, and you just got to get up and do it. Personally, normally we were only working out twice a week before all this happened. Now I literally have not missed a day, because that's my 30 minutes of sanity, but it's work. Like, it's not like, it's a piece of cake. Like, it's finding 30 minutes where the kids aren't screaming. You can tune it out. But we're also not moving a lot. So whereas I was walking through the city to get to work, I don't have any of that. So yeah. I think doing it every day has helped.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I agree. So let's talk about the workout now. You just gave us a glimpse on that. You said you were working out. I mean, I know this, but for someone listening to this, they might not know this, but you're working out twice a week for a half hour and you dropped all those sizes.
Exactly.
No one would believe you.
And it's literally 30 minutes. It's like, it took me longer to drive to you than the class.
And are you doing any cardio on the outside? I know the answer to this again, but someone listening to this doesn't know.
So in the beginning I was, I wound up kind of pulling a muscle in my hip, so couldn't do the cardio, and I lost the most weight then. So I haven't done it I've not done any cardio of any kind probably in 6 months.
Wow. Man, if someone came to you and said, Dana, you need to do cardio to lose weight, what would you say?
I've laughed at my parents, because my dad has a heart condition and his doctor is constantly telling him to like get an elliptical and do it for 2 hours while he watches TV. I'm like, don't do it. Yeah, so it's just a total different mindset.
Yeah. And doctors don't even know. Doctors have one course in nutrition that they take. They have no experience in exercise, and they just kind of throw these random things out there. And a lot of people think that that's what they have to do, but that's not the case.
I've had my own personal physician say, what are you doing? Because since we started this, a year ago, he's obviously seen the change from a year ago to now. And he'll ask me what I'm doing, because like they don't even know what advice to give.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, and this is another good question too, because it's different for everybody, but for nutrition wise, obviously there has been a lot of change that has happened diet wise, getting in more protein, understanding what calories are, how much of things you should be eating. So at what point during your journey, again, you've been doing this for almost a year now, what point did it just kind of all click and come together? What was kind of like that tipping point for you where you were like, all right, this is working. I get it now. It starts to flow. You get that rhythm. At what point in your journey?
For me, it's results driven. So I think for me, and I told Laura, I have no idea what any of my muscles, like the real names, are called. So I told Laura, I said, it's my tank top muscle. So once I saw that for the first time in my life, I'm like, oh, this is working. I can wear a tank top.
And what was that point for you? Like when? How long into it? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want results yesterday.
No, I think it probably took about 2 months in, like I started to notice just some of the weight loss, but to have definition in my arms, which I'd never had before, or just seeing my legs and butt shrink down, it took about 2 months to see actual shrinkage.
Yeah, and people don't realize that too. Like to get actual like real results, like no, I lost 10 pounds. That's nothing. That's easy. But to actually like see results, it takes time. You know, we
Right,
say this all the time, healthy, sustainable, long-term, permanent loss is anywhere between half a pound to a pound a week. That's slow. That's
right.
slow, but it's real body fat. It's real changes. So how long did it take you to drop those sizes in clothes? I don't know how, I don't know. Again, I don't know that.
See, it's tough because you get so used to wearing those sizes. Even when you've lost weight, you still keep wearing it. So it was maybe when I was ready to really go through my whole wardrobe and say, okay, what's just like literally my pants were falling off of me as I would walk to work. Like this is ridiculous. So I had kind of gone through my entire wardrobe, spent a small fortune getting all new work stuff. And when I went in to try stuff on, I said, okay, let me see an 8, thinking I went down one size. And the guy's like, that it's still, you're swimming in it. And we just kept going down and down and down until I got a size I was comfortable with. And I was amazed myself.
How good did that feel? Yeah, I was just gonna say, how good did
It
that
felt
feel?
great. Part of me didn't want to spend the money because I'm like, maybe it was just like a good day. But yeah, it took a stranger basically telling me like, you still look like you're wearing a tent to go down more sizes.
It's so funny, and I'm not gonna say this and sound bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. But it's like women don't believe me. We get it. We put you on the scale. You lose body fat. Look, you lost this so much inches. No, it's a lie. It's not true. And apparently, it's just how you guys think. It
Well,
took so, like you
honestly,
said, someone.
if you're wearing the wrong size clothes, you just don't feel it because you still don't look it. So
Right.
it kind of just takes being comfortable to say, all right, I'm going to go try on different styles or different sizes. And when something fits you the right way, you just feel better.
So, what was your favorite moment with us? What was your favorite, best memory with AB Fitness Center?
Honestly, I think it's doing the challenges. Like we did that Spartan race, or we do the just challenges in the gym where everyone's just trying for their personal best and cheering each other on. I think those are great. That's my favorite part.
I know, and you've gotten really, really strong too. And that was not one of the things that you were kind of looking for when you
No,
came in. What have been some of your best lifts? Because they're
I
pretty
think
impressive.
Yeah, I think the last one when we were doing the deadlifts, I think it was 225, and I think I've done like 10 pounds more with Pete since then.
Yeah,
Uh, no idea what it is now, but
it'll come
we'll
back
see when
quick.
we get back to the gym.
It's a lot harder to gain muscle than to actually like rebuild it if you did lose it. But you've been pretty active. I think you'll come back quick. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about you at all. But 225 on a deadlift. And again, everyone's like that. They hear deadlift, they're like, oh my God, my back. No, deadlifts. And again, you didn't want to get stronger, but it's just a byproduct. It's one of the side effects of eating enough protein. And, it's just something that happens. And how do you feel now? Because you mentioned when you were doing boxing, you felt strong. Now you're deadlifting 225. How do you
Oh yeah,
feel now?
night and day difference. I like legitimately feel strong. Like my husband's mildly afraid of me.
I was just going to say, does he pass you the jar to open it?
Well, sometimes, although jars are tricky. I just have small hands, so he's
It's all
still.
about the technique. Don't worry, I'm on his side. It's all about the technique.
But
So,
yeah, or just like trying to teach the kids nutrition, especially while we've been home, has been great because now I know what the hell I'm talking about.
yeah. And what are some tricks and tips you've given the kids? Because I do that too with my kids. I want to see if it's similar to what I've taught them.
So now it's just teaching them like what is a protein, a carb, or a fat. So like if they go into the cabinet to get a snack, I'll say you cannot have a carb, and they'll go in there and they'll look and they'll say, is this a carb? And they've gotten better at like identifying what's a healthy snack versus fat or carbs pretty easily now.
That's awesome. That's the whole purpose of everything that we do, is so that you can become that person that everybody looks to and learns about. And it's awesome to teach your kids that. So I commend you for that. It's really, really good. So, and I think we all know the answer to this question. Can you sustain this for the long haul?
Yeah, it is true. It gets easier over time. You know, I know chicken parm is like your go-to thing. But you know, for me, you know, if we're gonna order it, I'd have to like not have carbs for a week to really have the amount of chicken parm I'd want to eat. So it's choices for me, and it's pretty easy. Or I'll look at we order when we were allowed to be around people. You know, my friends have 6, 7 garlic knots, and it's kind of watching them eat it almost makes me lose my appetite. So I'm good on passing on the garlic knots. You just get used to it.
Well, I'm going to tell you your formidable future, right? So once we get you down to where you say, okay, Anthony, I'm happy with where I am right now. One of the things that we do to help make this more sustainable long-term is we do something called maximizing your metabolism. So basically, and I guess I'm going into this. So if you're not at this department right now, then, you know, you got to wait, but this is what you guys have to look forward to when you become as successful as Dana. So right now, let's just say for argument's sake, you're losing on whatever 1,300 calories. Let's just say that that's what the number is. What we actually do is we build back your metabolism by adding calories back in. And when we do that, sometimes you actually get a benefit from that, and your body actually speeds up and burns more fat. So if we can ideally maintain the loss that you had on 1,600 calories, you're going to be able to maintain a lot more calories by eating more. Does that make sense? So you'll be able to eat more and maintain. And we have to do it very, very slowly, because if we do it so fast, you'll put on a ton of fat, and then it kind of defeats the purpose. But it'll allow you to have a bigger base to build off of. So if we can rebuild your metabolism, let's just say from 1,300 calories to 2,000 in 6 months, let's just say we took 6 months to do that. But now you're the same weight, the same body fat, but now you're eating, you know, that much more calories, whatever, 600-700 calories more. It's going to make a huge difference. So now you may have to fit those stuff in, but then you won't have to, because then you'll have a lot more handfuls of M&Ms.
Exactly.
And it's funny.
We did that. We went up 5 grams of carbs, you know, over 2 weeks, and then another 5. So I'm 10 grams higher up on carbs than I was when I started.
Yeah, we use that as again, I'm going into this, and no one's going to understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes we use that to break a plateau, because sometimes your body just needs to be kind of like reset a little bit, and your metabolism is always a moving thing. It's never going to be static. It's not like, okay, I'm having 1,300 calories the whole time. So your body will start to get used to that, and then it'll drop, your metabolic rate will drop down. So if we add some calories in, it spikes those hormones back up, and then you get a loss again. So essentially when we do that, we'll be just building all the way back up. And that would be the goal, because then it's easier to maintain, you know, the size 4 on, you know, whatever, 2,000 calories as opposed to 1,300. And that's what makes it more sustainable long-term. And again, this is going to go over a lot of people's heads, but you got to be as successful as Dana has been in order to get to that level. But so that's why I commend you for that. So awesome. Any questions about that?
No, I get it.
All right. So Dana, we'll leave on parting advice. I want you to give, so a 37-year-old woman who's listening to this, who is a size 12, okay, listening to this right now saying, okay, if this girl can do it, I can do it too. What would be your biggest advice that you give someone listening to this who wants to get started, who doesn't know what to do? What would be your biggest advice?
I would say just, you know, stick with it for yourself. Like you want to do this for yourself. Don't do it for other people. And just kind of stay the course. You're going to have days, like I have days where all of a sudden I'll be up 3 pounds and I have no idea why. And then it'll come back down. So I really don't let the weight get to me. But just kind of do what you know you're supposed to do. And it works. And listen to Pete, Anthony, and Laura.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it a couple of times on here, though. 2 things. 1, listen, obviously that's the most important one, but take action. So many, I never realized this, how many people don't take action on things. You know, you could give someone the best meal plan in the world. If they don't follow it, nothing's going to happen. So you got to take action on things, even if it's slow. So let's just say, for argument's sake, someone listening to this, they want to increase their protein intake. Just start by having more protein in one meal. That's a start. And then just build off that. I mean, you know, like I said, Dana, this didn't happen for Dana overnight. No. It took time to understand how it works, but she took action on it consistently over time. Took action on it. Right. You know, so
it's just good. Having. I'll steal 2 of yours from your other seminars, but try to put protein in every meal. Like I don't think I eat anything that doesn't have some kind of higher level protein in it. And the brush your teeth thing, I gotta tell you, that really works.
I told you, look how white your teeth are.
But if you're
So
like,
if someone didn't listen to that tip, you can give it to them. I'll give you credit. I'll say Dana came up with it.
no, you did.
I
But if
lost
you're
you
kind
again,
of like,
Dana. Come
did
on.
you? I see you.
We got to wait for Dana to come back. I lost, but we're frozen on a picture of Dana's pearly white teeth. So
Is it back yet?
giving out about brushing your teeth.
Oh,
There you are. You were
okay.
frozen. It's hysterical. You were frozen with your teeth were like showing. It was like a commercial. So go ahead, give the tip to everybody.
No, if you're kind of getting that craving or nausea and it's late at night and you really like you've met your quota for the day, just go brush your teeth. It literally makes you not want to eat anything. And
It's like magic, right?
It's great. I think I brush my teeth 4 times a day now.
But it works though. I told you, once your teeth are clean, you're not going to want to eat anything.
Exactly. So it definitely helps me stop at the one handful of M&Ms.
All right, Dana. Well, listen, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I think this interview is going to help a lot of people. And I always enjoy talking to you. So your future, you have to look forward to a lot more handfuls of M&Ms. I'll tell you that
Awesome.
much.
I'll take it.
Keep up the good work, Dana. And thank you so much.
You got it. Bye.
Bye-bye.